This is being recorded and also it is being broadcast live on YouTube. And after the session, you will receive invitation for a survey. So, okay. So today's Minamata Online. Today's plan is that I open the session on behalf of the Minamata Convention Secretariat and the ICMGP 2026 Chair, Mr. Asif Qureshi, will present an overview of ICMGP 2026, and then Jolina, member of the scientific committee and also the co-chair of the last ICMGP session held in Cape Town, will present on workshops, and then the Gosha Stilo will talk about the UNEP involvement, and I will talk about the ICMGP and Minamata Convention, followed by question, answer, and discussion. And please note that we will convene follow-up sessions on the 13th of May with presentations on specific special sessions. So, without further delay, I think I will invite Asif to present on the overview of the ICMGP. And Asif, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to?
I think okay. Let me just try. Otherwise, we will.
Okay, you can try.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I will start. If there is any delay or anything, please let me know. So thank you, Aisaku and the Secretariat for this session. It's very helpful. It's very good to have this partnership with ICMGP. So I will present very briefly on the ICMGP 2026. So we all know this, as Aisaku already said, it's a global journey. So it has started in 1990 and it basically has been all over the world.
Your
so
slide is not changing. I think you're
okay.
Yes.
I think we can just project from your end then. It's probably better.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just close it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So it's a global journey. It started in Sweden, then went to US, then Canada, Germany, Brazil, Japan, Slovenia, US, China, Canada, Scotland, South Korea, Poland, South Africa, and now it's for the first time in India. And of course, India is a very important country when it comes to mercury management or mercury emissions, especially, for example, from industries and fossil fuel generation. So it makes a lot of sense to have this here and have more and more people becoming interested in this topic. Next slide, please.
Sorry. Oh, why is it? Sorry about this. Okay, good.
Yeah, so this is the theme of this conference. So the enforcement became in 2027. So we are basically close to 10 years of the enforcement of the convention. So it would be a good time to take the stock of the conference, what has been achieved, maybe what are the challenges, what is left, and the outlook. So this is the venue city, which is Hyderabad. It's the red point already on the map. It's the center, well, south central India, and it's reachable from both east and the west. So you can come directly from Europe or from Southeast Asia. There would be a connecting flight that will fly directly to Hyderabad. Of course, the Middle East right now is maybe not happening, but by that time, hopefully, that will also be open. So more or less all places in the world, you can directly fly into Hyderabad, otherwise fly into Delhi or Mumbai and come to Hyderabad. Next slide, please, Aisaku. So this is the venue, IIT Hyderabad Convention Center. The convention center is the building on the right, the gray color building. And then there is an artificial pond and the guest house is on the left. Here I would like to show a video if we can project that for the convention center. It's a 1-minute video. Okay, so that just gives an idea of the convention. We can go back to the slideshow. So we will also post this on the website soon now. So this gives us an idea of the convention center, how it looks. So we can move to the next slide. This is the convention center. Uh, yeah, so now we have the Isaku, maybe you have to mute. Yeah. So we have the executive committee. It's a mix of um, more senior people as well as the more young scientists. So we have Leslie, who was already conference chair in the Edinburgh conference. Then Susha Wong, Ashudas Wairong. Then we have sort of younger scientists, Teresa, and then Jagannath and myself. We are the conference chairs. Next slide, please. So this is the scientific steering committee. Also, as we can see, this is a mix of very senior scientists, for example, Shenbing, to again early career scientists. So that would be, for example, Krishna, and also covers all parts of the world. So China, Spain, South Africa, Vietnam, US, South America, Argentina, UNEP, then US, India, Japan. So it's a quite good mix of people from different nationalities, different parts of the world, as well as the male and female ratios. Next slide, please. So this is a list of the sessions, and of course, more on this general and particularly special sessions will be covered in the Minamata Online session on 13th of May. So we can just introduce them, that we have general sessions which will cover atmosphere, oceans, poles, land, bioaccumulation, human health, science and policy, basically anything that does not fit into the special sessions. But of course, if you look at our special sessions, next slide please, they are already quite exhaustive. So it includes Mercury in cosmetics, Mercury in Ayurvedic tradition, AI, ML, Mercury in forest, science policy interface, oil and gas industry, which is a new session, particularly in this ICMGP, then Mercury in biodiversity, ASGM. Next slide, please. Mercury and selenium interactions, environmental modeling, Mercury and effectiveness evaluation, geological process, geotraces, Mercury in southern hemisphere, which is also a very well populated session, Mercury transportation wetlands, and then human biomonitoring. So as again the next session on 13th May, this will be covered in more details. We still have the early bird is over, but you can still submit if one wants till 30th of June with a late piece. and then we have workshops. There are other special events also that are quite ahead in planning or at different stages of planning. So women's networking event, then Mercury in skincare products will be an evening session led by UNEP. Then Kumamoto Prefecture is also planning on experience sharing sessions. And then we will have a launch of global mentorship program. So these would be special to this ICMGP. Next slide, please. This is the website. I think by now everyone knows this website, and this has gone in the mailing list. So next slide, please, Aisaku. So awards, we will have two awards during this conference. Both will be awarded during the conference itself. So Catherine Mahaffey Lifetime Achievement Award, where we had 5 nominations, and Emerging Career, we had 10 nominations. So we had actually quite good nominations, and it was not always very easy, but so at least it was very well attended to. Next slide, please. Then of course we have to mention, this is very important, our gold sponsors, so Lumex, then National Institute of Minamata Disease and Nippon Instruments Corporation. We have to mention because they are still supporting the Mercury community even in whatever new situations, and it's really helpful to keep this Mercury community and the conference going, so we really appreciate them. Next slide, please. We have student award sponsors. So Royal Society of Chemistry through the journal Environmental Science Processes and Impacts have already committed 2 awards, and same with ACS. So 2 different categories of awards will be there: best oral presentations and best poster presentations, all multiple awards, only for students. Plus ESPI has already on board to have a special issue on the ICMGP 2026. Next slide, please. Then in this conference, we have our travel partner, which is Brahmaputra Tools. Their use I will explain a bit later as well. And then we have several booths and sponsors and exhibitors. So some of them are listed here: Gardez, Brookstrand, Picayune, and Kumamoto Prefecture. Next slide, please, Saku. So there are some particular practical information. More will be uploaded online within the next few days. So of course, first is where will I stay? So the answer is on campus, next to the convention center, or off campus. Next slide, please. So if you see next slide, so our convention center you see is on the right side, and the international guest house is just on the left hand side, so it's easy walk. Next slide, please. And then they have very different options. We have already reserved so far 175 rooms here. Of course, at some point we'll have to confirm how many are being occupied, and then only for students we have also blocked or reserved hostel rooms, but we'll have to confirm few months in advance. And we can also have some other things. We are planning to have some portal, either a shared form where they can book and do room share in the guest house as well, so that they can reduce their guest total cost. Next slide, please. Next 3-4 slides are just an example of the guest house room. So there's a standard room, and the prices are around 20 to 30 USD. Next slide, please. So this is only for guest house. Executive room, so again 30 to 40 USD plus 5%. Next slide, please. Then there are 30 suites, so room and living rooms, 40 to 50 USD. Next slide, please. And then there are very few super suites. So again, it's around, overall cost is 20 to 50 US. Next slide, please, Aisaku. Then we have the possible on-campus recreation. I would say pending final negotiations, but should be possible. So there are 2, one full Olympic size and the other half size swimming pools, which are available in principle, but these will be pay per use. And we have an athletics ground, so this kind of work can also be done by students or anyone who is inclined to. Next slide, please. We will move off campus now. So off campus there are different star hotels options. So of course there are like 5-star hotels, several 4-star hotels. These will be within 1 hour, but through our travel partners arrangement, and we will together with the PCO we will arrange the transportation for these. And then there are a few 3-star hotels which are nearby within 15-20 minutes distance. And there are many more other options which the PCO is negotiating, and then we will give those options in the website. But in summary, there are many different options available off campus as well. Next slide, please. And then the next question is, how far is the convention center from airport? How will I arrive? So next slide, Aisaku. So it's around 1 hour 15 minutes. The distance is 67. Generally it takes between 1 hour and 1 hour 15-20 minutes because it's mostly a highway. And only very few portions there is traffic, otherwise it's quite free. Next slide. And how will I arrive? We have the basically our travel partners. So the plan is to float a form for your arrival, so you can fill your information, and the the travel partner will already start in connection with you, and they will pick you up. We will have 2 or 3 or maybe more volunteers which would be at the airport to guide you towards the cap of the travels, and they can drop to IIT, the venue, or at your city hotel. With the same tour partners, they will also be promoting different tour options before, during and after the conferences. And again, I think they want to sort of form, they will give some options, and then they are also ready to make 2 other trips for whoever is so inclined to do after or before the conference. Next slide, Aisaku. How will I commute to the city if I want? That's the same thing, city to venue, venue to city, same. And if you have, so generally this would be planned, but if you have out of the blue inclination to go, you can inform a few hours before and then they will arrange it. Next slide. So yeah, this is all for now. Do join on the 30th May workshop, and if you have more questions, feel free to email the secretariat. Thank you, Aisako. Thank you, and see you in Hyderabad.
Thank you, Asif. So I think perhaps you could have mentioned the abstract submissions and registration. And my understanding is that the abstract submission was the early bird submission was closed, but the late submission is possible until the 30th of June, and also
Yes.
yeah. And registration, I think the early bird registration is by 15th of May, something like that.
Yeah. 15th of May.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. And if any of the participants have any question, please put it in the chat, and perhaps Asif or his colleague may respond to those questions in the chat. So then I would turn to Joy about the workshop, but you may also talk about Cape Town. But did you want to share my screen
Yes,
or
please. You can, yeah, that would be great if you could please share the presentation. It's only 2 slides. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Well, it's good afternoon in Cape Town, but good morning and good evening all over the world. And thank you, Aisaku, and thank you, Asif, for the invitation to participate in today. So really, my slide is just, the one slide. So in keeping with all the past conferences, Mercury conferences, I will just present on the pre-conference workshops that will take place on Sunday, the 4th of October, 2026. And so usually the conferences, the workshop starts at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning, depending on how long the day will be. And it finishes just before the opening ceremony of the conference. And so we've basically received sorry, Aisaku, I think there's there we go. So we've received 8 workshop proposals, and it's quite broad, which is really nice. And it does cover quite a lot of topics, some new topics also included in there. We've had in the past mercury analysis, and so that one is definitely there, the practical advances in mercury analysis. And then mercury transformation and mobilization from wetlands. We've also seen that in the past, but of course there's new science that is happening. So please spread the word to join the workshops. And then the lichen-based biomonitoring of mercury pollution, that is a new one. It's been coming along. You've heard in the past about that, but now there's a workshop on that. And open science in mercury research, so looking at community-driven databases. and then also Zeeman AAS for mercury determination, coming to share direct analysis of complex samples, something that we're always interested in. And then this next session, the sixth session, is really quite interesting for our students, professional skills for early career researchers and mercury science. And there the presenters will basically be sharing writing and science diplomacy. So that will really be great for our students to attend. And then the other one is status of mercury policy in Africa. So that will really be an extension of the conference that we had in Cape Town in 2024. And so, of course, we're covering the whole of Africa, and it will really be great just to see what is currently still happening now in Africa. How have we progressed in terms of the Minamata Convention, and where are we going? And there's a lot happening in Africa. So please do share that session. Well, all sessions, but this one in particular, we can also learn. Me being from Africa will be part of that session. We can learn from others globally. And then the last one on mercury safety and exposure. So best practices and compliance. And really also, this is a new session for the workshops. And just in terms of the 2024 conference, we had quite a bumper registration for the workshops, and we expect to see all of you at this workshop and more. Bring your friends, bring your colleagues, bring the whole Mercury community to join in on that Sunday session. Really, it's about sharing and just learning from each other. And for the students, it is just an amazing learning platform where you also then interact with the lead experts in mercury science and basically following what is happening with the Minamata Convention. So Isaku, that from my side, and the website is there as Asif was talking about the registration. So registration is also online, currently open for the workshops. Thank you, Isaku. Over to you.
Thank you, Joy. And sorry for not being able to make it in full screen mode. I was going to see how I do it, but I didn't have time before the
Okay.
meeting. So sorry
Thank
about
you.
this. So okay, then I would like to move to the next presenter, Gosha, who's going to talk about the very close relationship between the ICMGP and UNEP. And Gosha, did you want to share a screen, or did you want me to? I think, Gosha, you're very faint. I think your microphone is...
Okay. Second. Can you hear me, Isaac?
Yes, very good.
That's better?
Good.
Okay, perfect. Will you share my slide, or should I share it? Sorry. Okay, here, wonderful. Thanks a lot, Isaac. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Małgorzata Stylo, in short, Gosia. I work with UNEP, and thank you for this invitation, Isaac, to join this Minamata Online. And first of all, also congratulations to the organizers for the progress made to preparation of the conference. Thank you for the update, Asif and Joy. I'm really looking forward, for our collaborations. So first of all, I wanted to again highlight, the commitment of UNEP and gratitude, to continue being part of the scientific steering committee for this upcoming conference, and as we have been also contributing in the past conferences. We are really glad to be part of this and continuing this collaboration to bridge the science policy work in terms of mercury. This has a really big linkage also with the UNEP-led Global Mercury Partnership Network, where we also support various stakeholders and countries with the aim to implement the Minamata Convention on Mercury. So I think the element, to our collaboration through providing scientific evidence and translating into policy, it's really important. And as such, UNEP continues to be part of scientific steering committee. And in addition to bridging between science and policy, we are also supporting various elements that already Asif and Joy mentioned. For example, every career researchers program, where we will also focus on the science policy element, the different workshops, awards, etc. And one of the workshops that Joy just mentioned is going to again focus, as she mentioned, on early career researchers, on students and other researchers in the early stages. And again, there will be 2 parts, very practical workshop, and the second part will focus on the bridge between the scientific community and especially young researchers, where they can, so they have overview what are the network, how the research and their future plan in the academia and the research community could contribute to the policy and the work of Minamata Convention, United Nations Environment Program, and other international actors and organizations working then to implement and have actions towards the various policy aspects. And my second slide, Isaac, please. So in my second slide, I just wanted to provide a very quick snapshot of the 3 conference team that UNEP is co-leading. Again, we have heard that we're going to deep dive into the sessions in another Minamata Online session in May, but just to flag elements that UNEP is co-chairing either with Minamata Convention Secretariat or other actors working in the field as a biodiversity research institute. We do going to co-lead the session regarding artisanal and small-scale gold mining, when again the session obviously will feature various perspectives in terms of local studies at the artisanal and small-scale gold mining regarding mercury, but also with the link to Minamata Convention and Article 7 on the artisanal and small-scale gold mining, and particularly seeing, how we can also leverage the data and the studies at the local level towards the national solution, towards a national action plan for the sector development and implementation. The second session we're going to co-chair is on mercury and biodiversity, and this is again a very important subject for UNEP to look at the synergies between the different environmental pillars and agenda, here being pollution as a mercury pollution and nature-based biodiversity actions. So we're looking forward also to have a very good session here, which again links the science, but also looking into the policy solution. And the last one that I wanted to feature is a special session on mercury in cosmetics. This is also element that UNEP have been working quite intensely in the past year, and we're going to work with many more countries in addressing and phasing out mercury containing cosmetics. And we would like to, here in this session, will feature really that at the interface, the studies at the interface of natural sciences, so looking at mercury sampling in the creams, but also looking at the behavioral science, looking at the market elements and how can we work together through different elements as trade and policy and actions. And there is a special public event that also was already mentioned earlier that we plan to organize in the context of mercury in cosmetics. We're still deciding which of the evening it will be, but would like to have an event where policy meets arts and to have a space where we will have a screening of a movie and a panel discussion with the producer. You can see the movie is called Complexion. It's a movie produced by a former Miss America, Nina Davulari, which is of Indian origin and actually from the Hyderabad state. So this will be something, where we can link again, broader audience, conference participants, but also talk about mercury issue, science and policy in a little bit bigger and broader audience and team to link our actions also to this broader discussions. I will stop here. We will have a much more details as we move forward. Thank you. Isaac, I think you're muted.
Thank you, Gosia. So, since we would like to have a bit of time for discussion Q&A, I think jump straight into my presentation, the last one today. Sorry, technical challenge. So ICMGP and Minamata Convention. So I would like to first stress that, like other Minamata Environment Conventions, we call it Multilateral Environmental Agreements, MEAs. Minamata Convention is based on science. For example, as I said, the ICMGP's work and also UNEP's scientific work that resulted in global mercury assessments. I think there are 4 versions since the first one was 2001, I think. These scientific publications provide a scientific support to the development of implementation of the Minamata Convention. And Minamata, the reason why the countries agreed on Minamata Convention was that they recognized as global pollutant. And the name of the ICMGP, the mercury as a global pollutant, is the biggest rationale for having international convention to address mercury. And also Article 19 of the Minamata Convention provides research, development, and monitoring. And there have been many ad hoc expert groups supporting the scientific and technical work to develop guidance documents such as the best environmental technologies, monitoring, and waste management, and so on. And also, one scientific body we have is what is called the Open-Ended Scientific Group, which is established by COP4 in 2022. And the group is working to develop a scientific report to evaluate the effectiveness of the convention. And the draft scientific report has been posted on the web this month for 8-week review by, I think it is 8th of June. So we very much look forward to receive review comments. So we have already implemented science policy interface, but the further development of the enhancement of the science policy interface is what we are aiming at. Minamata Convention has been working with ICMGP, for example. The Minamata Convention Secretariat has collaborated with ICMGP, including Minamata Online series like this one, before the Cape Town meeting, and also the online sessions in 2022. I think we had a series of Minamata Onlines focusing on the synthesis papers that I'm going to speak to, and also web articles and ICMGP keynote speeches. At the bottom right, you will see Executive Secretary Monica Stankiewicz delivering a keynote speech in Cape Town. And also ICMGP synthesis papers, 2018 was from Providence, I think, and 2023 was from Cape Town. These were presented to the Conference of the Parties. And also to note is that at the last meeting of the COP, the Conference of the Parties, the COP requested the Secretariat to conduct a scoping study on possible areas where the strengthening of the science policy interface would advance the implementation of the convention with input from ICMGP experts. So the ICMGP is mentioned explicitly here. For some of you who are not so familiar with the decision-making structure of the Minamata Convention, the Conference of the Parties is the decision-making body under the Minamata Convention, and it meets twice, once in 2 years. And the current cycle is that the COP meets in the odd years. So the last one was 2025, and the next one will be 2027. And it used to coincide with ICMGP cycle, but now ICMGP seems to be meeting on even years. So I think the cycle of the ICMGP is very good for COP, because then the COP can make input to the ICMGP, and then ICMGP can make scientific input to COP. Okay, so I would like to mention a new global science policy panel covering chemicals and waste and pollution. Last year, in Punta del Este, Uruguay, governments agreed to establish a intergovernmental science policy panel on chemicals, waste, and pollution, which is abbreviated as ISPCWP, and the panel completes the global scientific trifecta triangle alongside the IPCC with climate change and IPBES, the biodiversity and ecosystem services. So for each of the three global crises, planetary crisis, climate change, and biodiversity loss and pollution, we have scientific bodies, international scientific bodies. The panel will work on the foundational document of the panel mentions 5 objectives: horizon scanning, assessment, providing information, and also information sharing with countries, and capacity building. So we very much look forward to working with the newly established panel by providing input and also receiving scientific input from them. So at ICMGP this year, we are planning a special session on science policy interface and the part of the reason objectives is to seek input from ICMGP on the scoping study that I mentioned earlier. And currently, we are planning presentations on the effectiveness evaluation as a model case of science policy interface or interdisciplinary approaches to address ASGM, and national examples of science policy interface. We received abstracts on Australia and India, and roles of science in environmental governance and technology transfer case studies. So this is very likely to be merged with a general session on science and policy. So some of the past speakers spoke about the May session on the Minamata Online session, which is currently planned for the Wednesday, 13th of May. And current plan is to have 2 sessions, considering the different time zones, and the morning session, European African morning session will be on monitoring, oil and gas, science policy interface, and early career workshop. In the afternoon, environmental modeling, the cosmetics, biodiversity, and the wetlands, ASGM, and the use of machine learning. So this is just a tentative list, and we are still talking to the special session organizers. So we may add some sessions, and we will post information on our website. So I think this completes the presentations, and I will stop sharing the screen, and I think I have to look at the chat. But so question and answers. I like to open for questions, but I haven't reviewed all the conversations in the chat, but if any of the panelists would like to respond orally to some questions. So I think I would start the question from Mohammed Abdullahi. Good morning. Or if someone is interested in participating in the conference, what's the procedure involved? I think it is best to ask Asif to explain how to.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. I guess you can look at the sessions, one of the sessions, and see where you would like to put an abstract for an oral or a poster presentation to give out to present your work, or you can just attend. So if you want to present, you have to submit the abstract and the abstract fees. Otherwise, if you just want to attend, you can register for the conference and just attend the conference. Yeah. So this and the information on abstracts and the registrations is already on the website. I can type that website here as well, so you can have a look there. Thank you.
Thank you, Asif. And also there's a question from Kevin about the timing of the special sessions. When will the special sessions be presented during the conference? Is it on Monday and Tuesday during the block of papers? There is also something called breakout sessions on Wednesday and Thursday. What will they be?
Okay, I think so. These are the special sessions would be like the regular sessions, I guess, where you have a series of presentations one after another, and what else? Breakout sessions, they're all the same only, I think. Yeah, this is like a regular session. There's nothing. They're special sessions because all the topics are, as you know, within one particular subject.
Thank you, Asif. And I think, yeah, I think I share this question because in the past ICMGP meetings, including Cape Town, there were plenary sessions and the sessions, the concurrent sessions, and plenary, everybody is in the same room, and for no, ordinary and special sessions, we broke into 3 or 4 or 5 rooms. So perhaps do you have any
It's the same
example
template.
plenaries?
We will follow the same template actually.
Okay, so there'll be plenaries and the plans for plenaries.
Yeah.
Very good to know. Okay. And then will there be a webinar to raise awareness on the implementation of the children's amendment to phase out dental amalgam? I don't think there's nothing planned, and as I heard, UNEP is working on the cosmetic session, and I think the part of the reason is that they are quite a good work, scientific work, including the social science, the behavioral science from the current and the Jeff project, and I think there are quite a lot of input, scientific input from them. But I'm not sure whether there have been the scientific abstract and so on the the dental amalgam and also the something coming from the Jeff dental amalgam project. But having said this, I think we would, as the Minamata Conference Secretariat, we would be happy to contribute support any efforts to use this opportunity for advancing the phase out of dental amalgam. But this is what I can say from the secretariat perspective. But is there any if Asif or Gosha
Yeah,
would like to say
yeah.
something?
I mean, if there is a plan, we can see how to implement it. I have to say, I didn't think about this idea or the comment at all. So if there is something coming from the secretariat, or if there is a plan, we can discuss and somehow we can do, I guess. So in principle, yeah, but yeah, we will have to discuss how to do it.
Good. Thank you. I think we have covered all the questions in the chat, but and we have 10 minutes left, so I think I can open up for oral question or intervention, or if any of the session organizers is in the call, perhaps you can speak to it briefly, because one of the reasons why we convened this session before the closure of the abstract submission is that we wanted to encourage scientists to still consider submitting abstracts to make to have successful sessions, the special session or general sessions, whatever. So if any of you would like to ask oral question or make oral intervention, you can raise your hand. I think I don't see hands. I see Florian, so you should be able to unmute now. No, I think
Thank
yes. Oh, why you muted again? So sorry. I think I clicked the wrong place. Can you raise your hand again? I will click on it. Yes. Now can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Well, if we have time, I would just like to follow up with Asif Qureshi if what could be next step if we would like to raise awareness on dental amalgam at the conference. What can we do? There is, of course, the WHO guideline for environmental friendly caries treatments. Can we somehow, as a World Alliance for Mercury-Free Dentistry, approach you?
Asif?
Sorry. So I guess like we have one event on I'm basically taking Kosia's idea, like you have an event planned on beauty creams. Maybe you can think about dental amalgam, or maybe you want to have a workshop on the Sunday, or if you want to have a pre-conference workshop and maybe make it open to other students, not only ICMGP attendees, but we can reach out to other colleges if we have something, some event, and then we can invite people to attend your workshop or whatever event. So these are two of the ideas that I could think of. Maybe anyone else, or Jagannath, if someone has an idea, please you can share. This is what I can think on top of my head right now.
We unfortunately we will not have the capacity to be on place. So for a workshop, it will be difficult to join it in person.
Jagannath raised his hand.
Jagannath, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Isaku. And thanks, Asif. Florian, I think that's a valid proposal as well. Since you mentioned you won't be present on site, I would encourage you to put together an online session that if we can advertise among our ICMGP friends and colleagues, and also with any early career researchers or students. So if you take an initiative and come up with an online event, virtual event, pre-conference, that would be great. And if you go through the website and see a workshop list, if you see any similarity with your proposal with anybody else's, please contact them and see if they can accommodate your, I don't know, maybe half an hour or 1 hour online program into their program as well. So, but then there will be a merger of two probably workshop or sessions. So please think about it. And then we have even in the program general sessions. So if you see yourself and the topic fitting into any of the general session category, you can also promote it through that. Do that make sense?
Thank you. And while Jagannath, you're online, and also I think we have Asif. There's a question from Jorge about is it possible to have an online presentation? And as the special session organizers, I am in conversation with Asif and Jagannath about to convene a online participation of those scientists that we wish to invite but cannot attend. So I know that it is possible, but perhaps I would appreciate Asif or Jagannath explanation about that possibility.
Okay, Asif and I, along with the executive committee, we are also discussing that how we can better accommodate hybrid presentations or online presentations given the current world situation. So we are in discussion with our PCO, MITI, as well, how we can come up with a better registration pricing for those who are going to present from abroad online, and hopefully very soon we'll come out with a possibility where people from abroad can join online, given there is no time, delays or restrictions. So there will be a possibility, and I'm very happy to say Asif will definitely second that IIT Hyderabad campus is very well equipped with IT and technical facilities, and the rooms that we have reserved also have this kind of online setup. So I think technically there won't be any, hopefully, challenge, but let's see how it unfolds. Asif.
Yeah, I will just add, or just so that it's not confusing. So we discussed this again in the executive committee that the conference still remains an in-person conference. So only few people who have exceptional circumstances or some considerations, we can consider this, and then we have the option of going online, or if someone, if a special session convener really wants the person to attend but they are not able to come, we can facilitate that. So that I would say, and we have the capacity to do that. But the conference is still an in-person conference officially. Yeah. So we would like that going. Thank you.
Thank you, Asif. So I think we are at the end of the planned hours. So I hope this session was very helpful. And one specific point about the dental amalgam. So if any of the dental amalgam communities have already submit abstracts or plan to submit abstracts, we would be happy to support any events. Related events. So perhaps if you can find out where the scientists stand, I think it would be helpful. So having said this, thank you very much for your participation, and we will post the information about the follow-up sessions very soon. So we look forward to seeing many of you in Hyderabad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.